All right. PSG is going to be hosting the club of Arsenal. That is on Wednesday, and that is tomorrow. Match preview coming in through here onto the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment, and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, Arsenal lost over the weekend. Even PSG lost over the weekend, and they lost to none other than Strasbourg. So these two teams would I hate to lose, but the difference is when Arsenal was losing, they fielded their most strongest 11, while for the club of PSG, they rested almost their entire 11 that is going to be playing against Arsenal. For the story that I did yesterday, when Gary Neville was really giving a hint that Arsenal can obviously knock out PSG, but he came out and indicated that it might not obviously go their way because of, one, them fielding that entire team, and that maybe they would have gone ahead obviously find themselves tired to obviously take on the side of PSG. But all in all, the game of football is obviously going to be happening at the Parc des Princes, a stadium that capacitates 48,000. You understand that very well. And remember what happened. What happened was the side of PSG came to London and they beat Arsenal by 1-0. But Thomas Partey, who was out, and this time round Partey is present, and will he obviously represent for the party? You know, all that and more into what we're obviously going to be discussing. So for Arsenal, Carafiori is back, Timber trained, and the manager that is obviously going to be trying to see whether he's gonna be fit to play. But Kai Havertz out, Tomiyasu out, Gabriel Magalhaes out, Gabriel Jesus is also out, and the rest of the players are readily available to see whether they'll obviously come in and really put in the required shift altogether to see to it that they obviously fight for their spot into the final. If I quote Gary Neville's words very well, he said that this is a very important game because it's a season definer, and it's also what we call a player moment for everyone in here for you. So as it stands right now, all has obviously gone on into the best way possible, and the club of Arsenal is really trying to do the needful. Now for PSG, Ousmane Dembele is back. Ousmane Dembele is back. You understand? Ousmane Dembele is back, and remember, he got an injury, and it was a hamstring injury when they are playing for the side of when they're playing against Arsenal. You remember that very well. But he really went ahead to really find himself available for this game. And I told you, when they really had a lot of things to do in there, I came up with a suggestion that if it means to obviously bring an injectable painkiller to obviously give it to the guy known as Ousmane Dembele, PSG will do all what it takes to see to it that they obviously go to the final, because the final will be played towards the end of May. So if they qualify tomorrow, then it will make a lot of sense that we'll have some weeks to heal. That is it. So they feel like they can have him back, and it's confirmed he is there to do the needful. Now let's get into the probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal and see how things are really going to be happening. It's almost known for everyone, and for the side of Arsenal, obviously David Raya, he's obviously going to be in between the stitches for the club of Arsenal, and the right back, however much is returning from injury, that is Julian Timber, hasn't been out for long. I think he can obviously start as the right back for the club of Arsenal. Then the left back, I think it's going to be Lewis Kelly. Lewis Kelly is going to be the left back. Right-sided centre back is going to be Julian Timber, and then the left-sided centre back, obviously one and only Jakub Kiwior. So those are the 5 players that I believe Arsenal is going to be fronting into their back 5. Now, from their back 5, obviously, we can really discuss about a player called Thomas Partey returning in the middle of the central defensive midfield, and that is Partey. You know, he was one of the big pieces they missed into their jigsaw, into that beautiful game of football that was played at Emirates, that was almost dominated by the club of PSG. Then alongside him is going to be Declan Rice, a man who has played a very pivotal role for them to reach the semi-final because he single-handedly knocked out Real Madrid. So the importance of him returning is that he has that drive he gives them when they're obviously going up front. You know that very well. And that's exactly how things have gone ahead to be in there. So as it stands, Rice and Partey is really one of those midfields that PSG will obviously fill, because Thomas Partey will do the role. And what role will he play? He'll play a role of really shielding the back four, doing the checkmates, breaking play for the side of PSG, and he also does what we call initiation of play. That he is a player known as Declan Rice. Sorry, that's not known as Partey. And Declan Rice is also good at being a spoiler, but more better than a player known as Thomas Partey when it comes going forward and shooting at goal. That is Declan Rice for you. So his box-to-box role will obviously mean a lot to the side of Arsenal. That's why I tell you the return of Thomas Partey will obviously give Arsenal a very huge goal into the mix. Then Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard is one of the players that has obviously been non-performing very well in the recent past. But I tell you, he's one of those that always looks good when he knows to it that Partey is shielding him all the time. You understand? So he also enjoys when Partey is there and Declan Rice, because he doesn't have a lot of work to do going backwards, and he's always so much focused onto going forward and doing the needful in there. So that is Martin Odegaard for you. Saka, right forward, you know that very well. No one really takes that position from him, and he's also going to be pivotal, because I know the return of Declan Rice will obviously see these players all switch on into, the return of Thomas Partey will see them switch on into the best way possible. Then Martinelli will obviously be played as a left forward, and who will obviously lead the line? It's going to be Mikel Merino to lead the line. In the game they played at Arsenal or at the Emirates, the player known as Mikel Merino played in the midfield because Partey was nowhere to be seen, and all we had to see was nothing apart from Declan Rice being played as a CDM and a player known as Declan was being played as a CDM, and then a player called Merino was being played as a box-to-box player. But Merino returning, leading the line, will obviously help Arsenal a lot, because he scored the third goal they're playing against PSG and against Real Madrid. And remember, the penalty that Bukayo Saka went ahead to miss, what was its cause? Its cause was all about this guy being held by Asensio, by Asensio into the mix, and he pointed to the spot. Then later, he was responsible for the first goal that Saka scored, and he made his second assist to see to it that a player known as Martinelli went ahead to score. So that means his presence will obviously be not missed like it was missed at the Emirates. And I've gone ahead to read someone as Kimono FC. If at all you follow him on X, you can as well go ahead and really see how he has compiled the importance of Mikel Merino in the line leading role. And he has said Arsenal missed him on top, especially as a box presence, as a long ball target for Raya, but he had a great game in the midfield. So his presence has really helped Arsenal to play lots of big teams and obviously overpower them. So that is the probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. We go to the probable starting 11 for the side of PSG. In goal, David Raya, right? Right back, Ashraf Hakimi. Left back, obviously Nuno Mendes. That is for PSG. Right-sided centre-back, it's going to be Marquinhos. Left-sided centre-back, Pacho. Midfield 3, Yao Neves. 1, Vitinha. And Fabian Ruiz. Right forward, Ousmane Dembele. Then the left forward is obviously gonna be is it Bakola? Leading the line is gonna be Kaveshkari. I think that's how they're obviously gonna be lining up. So you can as well base onto that and tell me what your thoughts are about this. But Arsenal goes to this game of football knowing that very many English teams have gonna hate to go to that stadium, and they've gonna hate to really win very many games. And let me read to you these stats that might obviously give Arsenal a very huge go into the mix and really give you hope. 1, PSG's 1-0 win the first leg was their first ever victory in 6 attempts against Arsenal. 3 draws and 2 losses. Both of their home games against the Gunners have finished 1-1, March 1994 and September 2016. Secondly, having been unbeaten in the first 13 away games against French sides in all competitions, 8 wins and 5 draws, Arsenal have now lost their last 2 visits against Reims in 2019 and Lens in 2023. You remember that I think it was last year's Champions League, Arsenal was beaten by Lens, right? Thirdly, only 2 teams have ever reached the UEFA Champions League final, having lost the first leg of their semi-final tie at home, with Ajax overcoming Panathinaikos in 1995-1996 and Spurs doing the same against Ajax of Erik ten Hag in 2018-2019. 4. Both PSG and Arsenal are bidding to reach their second European Cup/UEFA Champions League final, with the French side doing so in 2019-2020 and the Gunners doing so in 2005-2006. When winning the first leg of the European tie away from home, PSG have only been eliminated once versus Man United in 2018-2019, while the Gunners have never progressed when losing the first leg at home. So it's not in favor of the club of Arsenal. Lastly, PSG have won 3 of their last 4 UEFA Champions League home games, netting 14 goals across those 3 victories. However, they've lost twice at Parc des Princes this season versus Liverpool and Atletico Madrid, only losing 3 at home in the same campaign in 2020 to 2021. So guys, here I come with my prediction. I tell you, I see Arsenal winning this game away in Paris, but extra time will be called for, because I don't see Arsenal winning this game of football with a margin of 2 goals. But I think it can go to 1-0. It can go 3-2, and we go to extra time. To extra time, I can't tell who will win, but I smell extra time into that game of football. Like this one of Barcelona has gonna hate obviously go in there. So guys, Rokani David remains my name. Let's meet in the morning and see how we'll obviously start our day. Rokani David is here, and hours, just minutes from now, we'll be knowing who is obviously gonna be stepping into the finale. And you know where the finale is gonna be played? In Allianz Arena, Bayern Munich, that is in Germany. So we sign out for now. See you later. But your predictions are welcome in the comment section below. I really believe that Arsenal can really come and really overcome this beautiful game of football. We're out. Bye bye.